Hi, welcome back to Dr. Tao's YouTube channel. This is Dr. Tao from Howard County Board of Education. In this channel, I'm going to interview our high school graduates who graduated from Howard County Public School System. I want them to share their experience, their achievements, their challenges, and their advice with our incoming high school students. In this channel, I really want to focus on student voice and student experience. I hope their voice and their experience will help you, both the parents and the students, to navigate through your high school life. Today, I'm going to interview Mr. Wyatt Currie. He graduated from Mount Hebron High School in 2020. He will join University of Pennsylvania, majoring finance and computer science. Welcome, Wyatt. Thanks for joining me in this channel. Can you have a self-introduction?
Well, thank you so much for having me on. It's great to talk about my sort of high school experience. So yes, my name is Wyatt Currie. I went to Mount Hebron High School. We'll be going on to the Wharton Business School at University of Pennsylvania. In my high school career, I did a lot of academic competitions and clubs, as well as volunteering in the community through an organization called Tech Now. And I just would love to get the chance to share my experience. So thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you. So my first question for you, what was your biggest challenge in your senior year? How did you overcome that?
Yeah, so this year especially was different than sort of past years for very obvious reasons. And so making that leap from in-person classes to then online instruction, especially around AP testing time, I think that was definitely the most difficult for me, because it meant that it would be a lot more time on my own, having to do self-study as opposed to, you know, taking practice exams or having a teacher or having like a physical teacher in classroom location to study for those.
I see. Thanks for sharing that. So what was your biggest challenge in your whole 4 years in high school? How did you overcome that?
Yeah, I would say definitely my time management. I participated in a lot of different clubs, activities, you know, plus taking the regular course load of classes. So being able to juggle all of those things while still getting the work done that I needed to, that was definitely a challenge throughout high school. For me, it really helped when I used like Google Calendar, other sort of like time planning devices, so I could sort of block out, okay, this time I'm going to work on these things, and I can sort of plan ahead my week or the next 2 weeks to know what's going to be going on.
I see. Thanks for sharing that. So when you talk about time management, if you have multiple classes and multiple extracurricular activities, how do you choose which one is more important, which one is less important?
Yeah, it's sort of I guess it's kind of a hard call to make. I would usually just complete whatever work at the closest due date, if I'm being honest. I just sort of go from there. But yeah, I just whichever thing is the most closest that needs to be done, go start with that one. And then you can work on longer term projects when you have the time.
I see. Deadline is a driving factor. Okay. Can you share one unique academic experience? For example, maybe one class or one project or one seminar?
So I was fortunate enough to I did dual enrollment my senior year. So I took 4 classes at Mount Hebron, and I took 3 classes at the University of Maryland, Baltimore County throughout my senior year. And so I was really happy that I was able to do that, because it allowed me to take classes that were really specific to what I wanted to study, which was, you know, finance, economics, and computer science. So I took a lot of sort of higher level finance classes at University of Maryland, Baltimore County. And so it was really nice to be able to also have more agency in being able to choose what I study. Because while Mount Hebron and HCPSS has, you know, macro AP, micro AP, I wanted to delve a little bit farther into that and the more finance aspects. And so being able to do dual enrollment was really, really special to me this year.
I see. So I didn't notice we have dual enrollment with UMBC. I only know we have collaboration with HCC. Is that something new?
Yeah, so I would sort of specifically contacted someone at UMBC and explained the like relationship HCPSS has with the community college, and tried to see if they'd be willing to let me do the same thing, but at UMBC. So I guess I was sort of a special case, but yeah, I met someone who was very nice and sort of helped guide me through the process of taking dual enrollment classes at UMBC.
I see. Thanks for sharing that. For our audience, right? Just remember that there may be some opportunity outside HCC and UMBC is another option for you. That's great to know. Do you have any experience with bullying or cyberbullying, or your friends experience that?
I never was the recipient or giver of any cyberbullying, but I've heard like sort of horror cases, I guess, where that happens. But I was fortunate enough not to ever be the victim of that.
Thanks for sharing that. I'm glad to hear that. I think for our audience and either parents or students, if you or your friend ever experience that, please let the school know. The school has a solid and robust framework to handle bullying and cyberbullying. And in general, it's very difficult to handle by yourself. The school definitely want to provide a safe learning environment for you. So the next question for you, can you share some extracurricular activities?
So probably the most involved club that I was in at Mount Hebron was the economics challenge team. And so how this worked is that there is an upper and lower division. So the upper division was Adam Smith, which is a famous economist. Lower division is David Ricardo, another famous economist. And so students would be on teams of 4 and take a series of escalating tests and competitions. So it started at the state level, and then there'd be national semifinals, and then finally the national finals, which was held in New York City in person, which was it was a really great experience. And so that was definitely very involved, required lots of studying and preparing. And we were fortunate enough that I won this competition my junior year. Our team and I came in first place in the Adam Smith division, as well as senior year. It was unfortunate that this year we couldn't go to New York City in person because of everything going on, but we were still able to have the competition over a Zoom call, actually, which was sort of interesting because we were giving a PowerPoint presentation to a panel of judges through Zoom, which was definitely a new experience for me. But and so as a consequence of winning my junior year, first place in the Adam Smith division, I was then qualified to participate in the International Economics Olympiad, which was the previous summer in between my junior and senior year. This was a competition held in Saint Petersburg, Russia, just for the various national champions of each of the countries that were participating. I think the final total was approximately 120 different national champions from 28 or so countries, which was a really humbling experience for me. I had never even traveled outside the country before going on this, and I was getting to meet all these new people from like New Zealand, Nepal, all over Eastern Europe, and it was just a really great experience for me. I was able to achieve a bronze medal while I was there, which was
Congratulations.
Thank you, thank you. I was very excited to be able to do that. But yeah, so just economics challenge, International Economics Olympiad. Those were 2 of my my most favorite clubs while I was in high school, or activities.
I see. Thanks for sharing that. I remember one of your instructor or team lead, Mr. Vann, and he shared that great news and achievement from your school, Mount Hebron. I think Mount Hebron is probably the only one school who has won 3 championships in 3 years, right?
Yeah. Mr. Prime has been an invaluable resource, giving us like teaching materials, keeping us motivated. He's really the reason that the team was able to come together and be as successful as we have been. So a lot of thanks go out to him. If you ever
Sure.
watch
Congratulations to your team, and both the students and the teachers work together to achieve that. It's a flagship reputation from Mount Hebron. I would say congratulations on that. So my next question for you is, do you have any advice to share with our incoming high school students?
Yeah, so I think for me, one of the biggest things that someone told me when I was an incoming like freshman, I believe, was that, now that you're in high school, you're sort of at the age of like 15, 16, you're coming in. I guess it's sort of a cliche to think, but when you're getting older like that, you get a lot more responsibility. And with that, especially in an academic setting, it's really up to you to sort of chase those, opportunities, put in the work. I think that especially in high school and then even more so in college, it's where the focus is shifting away from, relying on teachers, parents. It's really up to you about how successful you want to be. And so if you want to be, president of every club you're in, have straight A's, like, at the end, it's up to you to put in the work in and to really have agency over your own success. So I guess my advice would be is to really understand that for new students and try to seek out, opportunities, be really serious about putting in the work for your classes, and then you'll see it, in your grades. You'll see the results.
So basically, you need to work hard, really hard.
I guess, yeah. I just say, like, don't necessarily, it's good to rely on other people, but especially when you're getting older, high school, college, it is ultimately up to you. And so you really have to, put in the work yourself.
Okay, thanks for sharing that. And another question for you, why you choose University of Pennsylvania? Why you choose your finance and computer science as a major? Is finance and computer science sometimes feel a little far away from each other?
So, yeah, I was originally just sort of interested in business in general. I wasn't really sure where I was going with that, but the sort of field of business and economics had just sort of had interested me from a long time ago. But I guess I only recently decided that I would also want to major or minor in computer science because this is like in the past 2 years or so. Um, I've been studying a lot of like deep learning, machine learning things, where it's things that you can sort of combine finance and computer science together, where you can create models and things, statistical models that are sort of, made through computer science, but are applied to, financial stock markets, prices of stocks, bonds, et cetera. And so that sort of combination of those two things was really interesting to me. And I wrote about it in my essay to University of Pennsylvania. And they have a really good program where they sort of have a already established track for students wanting to study finance and computer science. It's called their like business analytics track. And so, especially because that sort of field is just getting bigger and bigger and more prevalent in the finance industry, I thought it was a good idea for me to study that because it'll be something that's just becomes even more worthwhile in the future.
Very interesting idea because I'm working in the machine learning, artificial intelligence area. I just feel artificial intelligence will definitely replace a lot of work humans are doing, like traders, right? Now you got automatic trader using computers. So that definitely will change the landscape of financial world as well. And
Absolutely.
even manufacturers, even farming industry. So people building robots to replace humans to pick up cherries, right? So it's kind of very interesting landscape for our future workforce because computers, automation, intelligence will replace a lot of work and which humans used to do. It's a little scary, but at the same time, it creates a lot of new opportunities as well. I hope like your generation, younger generation will make that kind of stride, really improve the human's life by using computers and using machines, but not just replacing humans. Do you have any advice for HCPSS where they can improve, where they can change?
Advice for HCPSS. I would say that I'll start with the pros. A lot of the things that HCPSS got right was allowing students to have a lot of different opportunities. There's like hundreds of clubs at every school. There's a big wide range of classes you can take. And I think that allowing kids to sort of, I guess, like customize their education, study what's really important to them. I really enjoyed that while I was at HCPSS. I was in the intern mentor program, both junior and senior year. And that's a class where you can sort of pick out a research project all on your own. I ended up studying my senior year. I'm studying machine learning and computer science in the same way that I'm going to be in university. So I think that I was really happy that I was able to pick where I wanted to study and what I wanted to study. Some advice I could give would be, I think that it's just for the future. I think it's really important to sort of increase people's financial literacy. This is a problem that I've sort of seen a while where people don't understand a lot of things, and then that leads to issues, fees and such. So I think that, at least in my opinion, there should be a required class that is almost, all of the life skills you need for financial literacy, filling out taxes, managing a budget. It's like I sort of got these things like tangentially in like my AP government class. I think my teacher after the AP test started talking about this stuff, but I think having a dedicated graduation requirement that gets people really prepared for everything they need to be successful, be a successful adult in the real world is something that could definitely be implemented.
Thanks for sharing that. I think the school has been working on to provide like financial literacy kind of knowledge to our graduates. At the same time, as you said, you want to provide a more deep understanding on that, because when they graduate, maybe they go to the workplace, right? And then how to manage your own finance is important for your physical situation. You don't want to overspending, and you don't want to pay like extra interest, right? And so it's an interesting idea. Thanks for sharing that. Do you have some closing remarks?
Yes. So thank you so much to my parents, especially I mentioned already, Mr. Prime. They pretty much made my high school experience what it is, and I wouldn't have been able to do any of this without them. So they've been a huge help. But I can't name every single teacher I've had, but I've never had like a bad teacher. I hear like all these sort of like horror stories from other people who've had terrible teachers who just really don't care about what they're doing. But at Mount Hebron, anyways, I was really fortunate enough to have really great teachers every single year. So I'm just very thankful for that.
Thanks for sharing that. I share the sentiment. I still remember a lot of my high school teacher, even elementary school and middle school teacher. Unfortunately, some teachers already passed away because I'm old enough. But I remember those wonderful experiences with the teachers. They're kind of sometimes like parents, because when you're young, you spend more time with the teachers. So Mr. Currie, thank you very much to share your time with me. I really appreciate that. And for our audience, and I will continue to interview our high school graduates. I want them to share their experience. I want to hear their voice. I hope their experience in the story will help you, both the parents and the student, to navigate through your high school life. And please subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I will continue to provide a high quality interview for you. Mr. Currie, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.